games, and I think so. It can. You can use different things to glorify God and to better His kingdom. So yes, you can. I believe that you can is the answer to that. And if you have disagreements or you want to debate it, we can talk about it later. But you can also leave comments for us on any of our sites that we're streaming to. So, is the audio not working? Really? I did all that and the audio's not working? You just see my mouth moving? Okay, I guess we'll move it again. I don't mind reading scripture again. I love the scripture. Huh?
This one's not a bad one.
Oh, okay. Oh, the scripture? Yeah. Did anyone hear me?
Probably not. I'm going through a second. Why is there no audio?
Why is there no audio? We might have to start over. Is there audio? Can you hear me? Testing.
I have no idea.
All right. We're going to do a quick sound test here. If y'all can hear me, we're going to do a quick sound test. We're experiencing some technical difficulties at this time. So now y'all can hear me. I'm hoping testing mic 1. Is this mic 1 still? Testing mic 1?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay. Let's try this again. We had some technical difficulties. I am Paul from God Inspired Games.
Hi, I'm Zach from Alkane Studios LLC, the guy in the background today.
Since y'all probably couldn't hear him, he says, "Hi, I'm Zach from Alkane Studios LLC." And welcome to our first live multi-stream livecast. We're actually not calling it a podcast anymore because it's kind of evolved from there. My daughter brought that to my attention. Thanks, Mia. So I want to start today's, as we do with every... restart today's livecast as we do every livecast with a scripture reading. But before we do that, I would like to actually ask a question. And I think I would like to do this from now on when we start these. And this question is, can you honor God while playing video games? The scripture reading that goes along with that is 1 Corinthians 10:31. And I'm going to read 31 through 33 through the NIV. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Do not cause anyone to stumble, whether Jews, Greeks, or the church of God. Even as I try to please everyone in every way, for I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that they may be saved. I think the answer to this is yes, you can honor God while playing video games, because different things that you do in life, you can actually honor God in those things. I think you can also dishonor God on how you act and treat other people if you're playing a multiplayer game. And also the type of game you're playing. So if you're playing something that has a lot of violence or drug use or anything like that, that promotes criminal activity or unethical or immoral activities, I think that that does not honor God. So you have to be careful about what games you play. And beyond that, especially with MMOs, you have to be careful with who you play with. So if you play a video game that is a massively multiplayer online video game that has survival aspects or a role-playing game, and you play with different groups, some groups are awesome to play with. I've seen, I play a lot of different online games. One of them is Ark, and I've seen games on there, or tribes on there, which are groups of people. I've seen a group of people on there that are Christian, and they are amazing. And they go out of their way to help people. I mean, you can tell that they're striving to honor God and be Christ-like, even while in the game playing. And it's just amazing to see them. And they do what they can to, they actually witness in game and give testimonies. And they do things they can to actually try to win souls to Christ, which is also what we do at God Inspired Games. So I'm sorry, that was a little longer than usual, but I really like that. And I think it was, I think it's a really good topic to talk about. And if you want to debate this or talk about this further in the future, you can always message us on any of our social media accounts. Whichever one you're watching on. And we have, right now we're doing our first live stream on multiple accounts. We had been doing live streams. We started off with podcasts on our Patreon site. And we did that, it was audio only. And we did that for about a month. And then we, after speaking with a bunch of people in the, not only the industry, but marketing people, they recommended that we do livecast through Facebook because it's a new thing and there's a lot of response to it. So we started doing livecasts on Facebook about a month after we did our podcast. And then we found we couldn't figure out how to do live podcasts to multiple accounts, multiple social media accounts. And finally, we were speaking with, I think it was Gabe or somebody. We were talking to somebody, and they said that there are ways to do it, and it's usually done through a third party online. And what companies do we use? What's the name of the company? Zach? What's the name of the company you use for multiple podcast?
RioStream.io.
RioStream.io. They're the ones we actually livecast through. So we use OBS Studios as our UI basically. And then it goes through there, and then it goes to the website, and then the website sends it to multiple streams. And that is Facebook. To do it through Facebook, it actually costs a little money, but for most of it, it's free. So that's really interesting. I really like that, and that's what we're going to be doing from now on to reach more people. But anyways, let's move on. Beta testing issues of the week. Zach had a bout of sickness this week, and there's really only 2 of us. And right now, I'm really working on getting a business plan together to work with to try to get some investors. And so all that being said, we actually did not get that much accomplished this week. We're going to have we'll probably have our update this week available tomorrow, but for this week's productivity, it was pretty far low. We're still shooting for a March 1st release date, which is about 5 weeks away. And so we're going to have to be working extra hard to meet that goal. And Zach thinks he can do it. So we're working towards that. Programming Corner. It's a new section we added to our podcast, our livecast. The Programming Corner is specifically for Alkane Studios LLC, and that is basically what did Zach do for programming for the week. And again, he was under the weather, so he didn't get much done. So we'll probably start that section next week. We are shooting for a release of March 1st, which is it's on my outline here. And yeah, our graphics, we got our first draft for art from Eric of Bison King Studios in Casper. He provided the bears, wolves, panthers, and rats for this week. And once we have those final drafts, Zach will be able to implement those into the game. Speaking of the game, I still have to write the rest of the story script. We're not going to be able to throw a bunch of extra stuff in there because we need to finish this by March 1st, so we can continue to work on our next project. And I have five quests basically to write left of the story script, and then this game will be done on the story script side. And then Zach has to implement it, which takes up a lot of time. But we're going to come up with a timeline for him, and we should be able to get everything out by March 1st. Marketing. I haven't had much luck in the marketing side of things for God-inspired games, and specifically advertising for Flood the Prequel. I found out that branding games is actually better than branding a company when it comes to video games. I actually want to do both because I think the vision and the idea behind making Christian-based video games is amazing. So I would like to brand God-inspired games as a company. But further, we really need to brand the game. So Flood the Prequel needs to be branded. It needs its own Facebook page and website. And for our next game, we're going to do the same thing. But we're actually going to probably start branding that after we're further along in the development cycle. Right now, the development cycle for the next game hasn't even started. It's just an idea. And we want to move forward with that. We do need investors. We're working. I'm working with my dad down in Florida, who is he's networking and he knows some people. We go to a men's Bible study down there. We're for successful businessmen, and looking at them for help as well as mentorship. I have a mentor, Doug Cherry, as well as John McGuire, that are amazing. But we need a little bit more help. So let me check this, make sure we're still doing good. Okay. All right, so that's what I'm working on the next 30 days. I'm wanting to finish up with getting investors. So we should get the ball rolling from that point on with our next game. We're going to hire people specifically as needed. We have different phases for how we're going to do that. A lot of that is confidential, so I can't really go into it. But we, as an immediate plan, I can talk about, and that is we're going to be looking for a graphic artist. So if you are in, and I want it in person, not we're looking for someone that is in person, not remotely done. So if you are in Gillette, Wyoming, and you are looking for, and you're a graphic artist and you're looking for a job, come on down. We'll eventually be able to hire you, hopefully, if once we get some investors. And we're also going to move to a new office or facility. That's all in the works. That's phase 2 of God Inspired Games. Stage 1 is what that is. So, or stage alpha. We haven't really decided how we're going to do that, but it's basically phase 1, stage 1. Let's see. Okay, so I'm also going to reach out to some YouTubers and see if they're willing to. Wimmeldorf has been awesome. He's the first YouTuber and only YouTuber so far to play our game and to actually put something out there for it. He did a great job, but that was when it was first released. We didn't really have a whole lot of content for it at that time, but we're trying to move forward from that. Are you gonna ever come over here and talk? Or all right, sorry. I just feel like this is a monologue. So it's like a single person livecast, and I like the banter we have back and forth. So
well, I had to get everything else set up. So
I know.
I created links. And
we
stuff
really
like
need a
really
technician.
Template, so
really need a technician. Tactician. A technician.
Tactician and technician.
A little bit of both. But I would like to reach out to at least a couple YouTubers. They don't have to be huge, but see if they'll be willing to actually do a YouTube video. And Zach gets nervous whenever I say that because the game's not where he wants it to be to get to the point where we can actually publicize it.
Right. Personally, I feel like it's a terrible game and nobody should play it.
Oh, come on, Zach. That's completely off. The game is actually really good. I enjoy playing it, and there are a lot of people that enjoy playing it, and I think it actually is a good, viable product.
That being said, though, it's not a bad game.
No, it's not. It is enjoyable.
It's all right.
Now, it's not a game you're going to spend hours and hours playing. It's not what we originally intended anyway. The total gameplay, I think, is going to wind up being about 2 to 2.5 hours. So it's not something you're going to spend, all your life on playing, like some of those MMO games. So, problems? Oh, okay. So, yeah. Anyways, I want to reach out to YouTubers. I really would like some more publicity for it. And when you reach out to YouTubers, it's typically free. So, and we don't have a marketing budget right now. We spent some money on advertising. It was a wash. And that's strategy and tactics. Our strategy, marketing strategy.
You live and learn and do your best to pull it from it.
It was just bad timing. We should have done it December 1st through December 25th probably, or 31st. Doing it, we actually did it from December 23rd to December 31st. That's a horrible idea. So that was that just didn't work. We're gonna do a press kit for Flood the Prequel, but we don't know how or who we're gonna disseminate that to or distribute that to. So that's something that me and Zach have to talk about. And we also spoke with Daniel, who is the CFO for Alkane Studios LLC.
For me. So yeah.
And we had a pretty good meeting. That's a meeting we were at earlier with. We had different.
Yep, that was a long meeting.
Well, yeah, but it was productive.
Yep.
So it was very beneficial. Yep. And we don't see eye to eye on everything, but I mean that's good because that gives you a different viewpoint and a different strategy to do. So you don't just present problems; you have solutions for those problems. And I think that it actually came out very good. It was a good meeting. So, anyways, you've Livecast, multiple streams. Already talked about that. Okay.
So many streams. We have like 4 places we're streaming to right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. That's a lot.
That is a lot. But I think it's going to be amazing. I think this is how you build a following. That's the whole point of doing a podcast is actually to build a following, to build a community around whatever you're trying to promote.
The only bad part is I can't watch the stream. Like
you can't watch any of the stream.
I can't watch all 4 of them, or 3 of them technically.
We really need a full-time guy actually not full-time, but like someone to actually
sit back,
guy or gal to actually sit there and watch.
Someone to say, hey, by the way, someone from X.
So we can actually say, hey, what's up? Hey, thanks for responding. But right now we can only see stuff through Facebook.
Not only. if I want to see something else, I have to go out of here and go to the other one.
On his phone.
On my phone. That's
we are an indie company. Both of our companies are. And what that means is at this stage, we're really not well funded. So a lot of the stuff we do is very poor when it comes to financially. As a matter of fact, I don't pay Zach an eighth of what he's worth.
Yeah.
So hopefully once I get investors, that'll change, and then I can finally pay myself too. So, and we really got to bring on that artist. We need a full-time artist. Yeah. So, but that's for the next game, and hopefully if we bring it on within 30 days, well, if we get if in less than 30 days, then they might be able to help with our current game too.
Right.
So,
but things go well
if things go well, and I have plans for if we don't get as much as we need. There's different stages we can go within phase 2. So, and that was just decided earlier after talking to Daniel.
Right. Ooh, bump. Sorry about that. Kind of.
All right. That's all I have. Do you have anything?
You know, there's probably something that I have, but
can't think of it right now.
At the
I
moment,
forgot to drink my coffee.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of coming out of something today, so I've been going in and out today, so it's
he's been like that all week. So he's hasn't been able to focus on much, and it's just difficult, and that happens. There's something going around our town here, so it's only a matter of time before
I went and got a flu shot yesterday, so it's like I feel fantastic.
So on top of everything else, I still recommend flu shots because it's accumulative. So every year you get a flu shot, it continues because you get different strands of flu or something every year. So it continues to.
Well, I mean, it's last year's vaccine though.
Like it's last year's vaccine, but again, it's cumulative. So if a strand like repeats itself, I don't know if it ever does. I'm not really a medical person, but I've read some things on this. Then you're already immune to it. So I don't know. I recommend flu shots. I'm not a medical professional. It's just an opinion.
Right.
And everybody has opinions.
Yep.
So
everyone has one.
That business plan is kicking my butt.
I think it's kicking.
Excuse my language. It's
kicking both our butts.
It's really it's difficult.
I was working on mine earlier this week.
Oh yeah.
And last week. And yeah, it's.
I want to thank everyone that's been helping me and actually reading the business plan. Thanks. My dad is one of them, as well as a few others. Thanks for picking through it and spending the time to actually read it and make recommendations for corrections.
Yep.
And also adding things in there.
Right. And thanks for showing up to these Livecasts.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you to everyone that's watching our Livecast, whether you're watching it live or watching it later, because we know time is not the same for everybody.
Yeah. And sometimes we get these out a little late.
A little late. We're way late. What time is it?
Yeah, it's
supposed to do this at 4 Mountain Time, which is 6 o'clock Eastern Time.
Yeah, we missed like our date a little bit. So, yeah, we try not to miss our dates, but if a meeting runs late like it did today.
It did run late. That I was not expecting that. No. And Perkins was about to kick us out.
No, I don't think so. They wouldn't kick us out.
No, they wouldn't. We drank a lot of the coffee though.
We barely drank a pot.
That's true. We drink more coffee here. We didn't have time to drink.
We're talking so much, we didn't have time to drink.
This is a really short live cast today because there really wasn't much done this week. With the graphics, there was actually, it looks like a lot of stuff done. It's just it needs to be finalized. What do you think about the graphics? How do you like? What are your thoughts? Oh, we also got a background last week, which we haven't implemented yet.
Yep, not yet.
So I thought that looked amazing. Right now, our background for the foothills, and this is going back into Flood the Prequel design or development. The background for the foothills looks horrid. What it is right now, currently, is it's like 3 lines with 3 different colors. It's like a light green, a dark green, and blue for the sky.
It's not terrible.
No, but it's
not the worst. But it's
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Yeah. The one that we got from Eric last week, I think looks amazing. It needs to be finalized, but it looks amazing.
He was saying it needs to be finalized.
Yeah, what we saw looked great, but comparatively, that's not really saying much because compared to the old one we had, it's a battle back, which when you go into the battle sequence, that's what shows in the background.
Ooh, you want? No, I can't. I'm not. That would take way too much time to.
I really, we need a technician because I'd like to have some type of music in the background. I would also like, especially on the waiting screen, and then also sound effects for when a certain thing gets said or done. Just basic stuff to make the live cast a little more enjoyable. Lively. Right now, it's just hearing 2 people drone on about stuff.
Plain Jane. Not bad, but it could be better.
It very well could be. Our next idea we have for a game, we're looking at doing it in Unity. What are your thoughts on?
I think that's enough.
No, we're not talking about the game itself. I want to know what your thoughts are on Unity.
Okay, so my thoughts on Unity. it looks like it's getting better. Like I've been doing some reading recently, and the graphics for it, they've been improving on that like nonstop. So from what I've been reading and all the new technology they've been throwing into it, it looks like it's starting to get comparable to Unreal, actually. So I'm really interested to see what's going on there. There's just a few articles that just the titles that I've read and stuff like that, and a few articles that I've been just kind of glazing over. But it sounds like they're getting better at graphics. So
like graphics rendering and implementation, or
right, like their shaders are getting better. Their rendering platform is getting better. So it's really hard to explain because I didn't do a whole lot of that. I didn't get into that too heavily, so I don't quite understand it too much. I just knew that with Unreal, you could separate each model into different sections and then apply different types of materials to that model. So you could have multiple materials to a single model. At first, it's like, oh yeah, that's but that's still pretty complex. And Unity, the way it used to be was you had multiple textures to one material per object. I could be wrong on that one too, because I didn't get too heavy into it.
Yet.
Yet. But from what I've been able to get into and where everything went from there, you don't realize how much you move your hands until you hit something with it.
Okay, a lot of people talk with their hands.
Yeah, right.
I think I talk with my hands too sometimes, which is why I usually have them here, because that way I'm not swinging all over the place and spilling my coffee and
throwing your coffee all over the place,
hitting the mic,
beating the mic up. Yeah.
But
yeah, it's just how they handle all of that, and now their newer technologies and stuff is getting kind of interesting. So I'm interested to see where that's going. But I think generally it's still a good indie starter platform for most indie game developers. Unreal still has their high barrier for entry for learning the engine and stuff like that, but they have a lot of community resources out that you can learn the engine and get help from the community. Whereas Unity, some guys were talking about it on our Discord channel, talking about it where Unity has more tutorials out for specific languages and stuff like that.
That Discord channel is for the Wyoming game devs.
Yep, that one.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on there. So yeah, they do have a lot of good tutorials out there. And I actually subscribe to Unity for God Inspired Games and Alkane Studios. It's really, I got two users. I paid for 2 users for a business development on Unity, which means Zach and I both have an account.
Well, I've had an account Unity previously. It's just now that I have a upgraded version of Unity.
Yep.
Which is how that works.
What that gives me is actually Unity sends me stuff all the time. I really should start forwarding it to you. Actually, I really should just have it go to you. I might be able to filter it and have it sent to you. I don't know, but
yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. So, but it sends so much stuff on the technical side of Unity to help with it. So, and I think Unity is a great idea. I was kind of up and down between going Unity versus Unreal Engine 4 for our next game, but I think we're going to stick with Unity for now, and we might stick with Unity from now on. I mean, it really could be. It really depends on my developers. If they decide, or the developers that work for me, if they decide that they think Unity is better, then we'll stick with Unity. If they think that Unreal Engine 4 is better, we'll switch over. But I am not doing that in the middle of a game development cycle.
Right.
That'd be for the next game or the game after that or whatever. Right. But it's not going to be in the middle of a game design.
But most developers can just kind of pick up an engine and just kind of do it, or at least they should be able to.
Yeah, but it's nice to actually have the background to know how the user interface works and know where everything goes. So if you're good with one engine and that's what you've been working on for the past 10 years, you should probably stick with that engine.
Right.
Unless it's required by a particular job to switch over.
Yeah, right. Well, most of the time they'll be switching from engine to engine. I know most programmers, they switch from language to language. So if it's, you use what you can and then you kind of go from there.
All right. I had another question. All right. So phase 2, stage 1, we're looking at bringing on an artist, just straight up artist. And then moving into a new facility or a new office space. Right. when the next part of that would be hiring another programmer, because you're going to be overtaxed. So we'll have to hire another programmer as the need arises.
Right.
What's the difference between like a programmer like that and a level designer?
So a programmer deals mostly in code. He does the programming. He writes the scripts, not script writing as in story, but script writing as in code scripting.
Yep.
He'll write all of those, whereas a level designer will go through and place objects in a level.
Okay.
They don't generally touch code unless they absolutely have to. The only time that they'll really even need to get into code, like at all, is in the Unreal Engine, and that's just for the blueprints so they can have.
So who's doing
stuff like
on
that.
our plan? We never even looked at having level designers because I figured that would fall under programming. So what are we looking at there?
That would fall under mostly artist.
So our artists would be our level designers.
Right.
Okay.
That's more of an art skill, not a program.
So they really need to work with the programmers in order to implement the whole thing.
Yep.
Okay. So they need to work together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to really
have to
work
be
on
together.
our team building and our environment for that.
Yeah.
People got to be able to work together.
Yeah. Most
So-
definitely.
By the way, hi Amy. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. How's it
And I think we just got another. Oh no, they dropped off.
it goes up and down.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it go up.
So, but I think we're getting actually towards the end. Did you have any? Did you have any last thoughts for you?
There's a few more things I do want to talk about, but
Go ahead.
I can't.
Oh, because it's about the next game, and it's just an idea.
Not just that one. Not just the next game. Is all my company stuff too. But
Okay.
For me, I can't talk about it just yet because it's not there yet. Soon, I can say I'm working on a multiplayer game in the Unreal Engine. But that's all I'm gonna disclose on that.
All right. I want to talk a little about Area 59. For those of you that are not geographically close to us, Area 59 is off of Highway 59, and it is a makerspace. Part of that's being run by a guy named Ian. I don't know his last name. You might know his last name. He says he used to work for him.
Ian Scott, yeah.
Ian Scott. He is currently a professor at Gillette College, I believe.
He's
Maybe an adjunct professor.
Oh no, he was a professor. He was the
Okay.
He did a lot of things. He was the head guy that I talked to about all of the stuff that went on outside of the college
Mm-hmm.
for like the trees, the grass, sprinkler system.
Oh, okay. So when you worked at the college for grounds or whatever.
Yeah. He was the
Okay.
he was the guy to talk to. And he
So
did a whole bunch of other
Ian
things, too.
Scott is also the director of Area 59, which is a nonprofit that is here in town, and it is creator space. They also have 27 computers in a computer lab, and his degree is actually in graphic design. And very soon he is going to have graphic artist classes through Adobe because he has he has a license for 27 computers to actually use the whole Adobe suite. So that's his plan. And eventually I'd like to actually have him on as a guest speaker. And maybe even do an on location thing at Area 59. That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, but if you are in the local area and you are wanting to learn graphic design or graphic artistry, that's
Yeah,
even a word.
stuff. Yeah.
If you want to learn art on the computer, look up Area 59. The marketing class, that's going to start really soon, like in the next couple weeks. They're really, really soon. And those classes are going to be about 2-day classes that he's teaching. And he's and I think there's a fee, but it's not going to be a whole lot. But that's actually one of the requirements we're going to have is either you have 3 years plus experience in Photoshop and prove it to us, or you have to have
Well, it's not going to be just Photoshop, though.
not Photoshop specifically, but the graphic artist work.
And
Or you get a certificate
graphics-
or whatever from Area 59,
Right.
and then we'll train you.
so there's another thing too: is graphic artist isn't the same as a 3D modeler.
So what do I call it?
3D modeler.
Okay, but we need 3D modeler and animator in the same job.
Yep. But that's generally a 3D modeler, a 3D artist, I should say.
Okay, but so a 3D artist is what we need.
Yep.
So that's what we want to title it, 3D artist?
Yep.
Okay.
That's generally what it would be called.
All right. And then anything else we have that's extra, they can either do if they can, or we'd have to contract it out. Preferably they would do it because we do need some.
They have to do it. They
okay. Because we'll need concept art and things, and that's all 2D stuff. So,
okay. So there's
box
so much
art, cover art.
There's so much that goes to it. You can't just like.
We need an artist,
right? But you can't just.
We need a CG artist.
Just one. It's not just one thing. Like the 3D artist does so many things. Like he'll go through concept. He'll go through stylizing.
So literally, a 3D artist is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what we need. That's what they're called, 3D artists.
All right. I have it titled differently. So 3D artist is what we need.
Yeah. And a graphic artist, which is confusing for a lot of people. And sometimes they are called graphic artists. It just depends on where or what the work is. Like who your boss is, that what gets you called that. I'm getting in trouble here. Letting your phone go.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to put it on mute.
Anyway,
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, but graphics artist is there's so much to a graphic artist mostly deals with graphics and stuff like that, like logos, 2D art, logos, advertisements, 2D art, stuff like that. Whereas a 3D artist does the 3D modeling, does the 3D art, all of the 3D arts, including the static, animated, textured, low poly, high poly.
So he'd also be able to do concept art and cover art.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
he or she, excuse me, this isn't really gender specific.
Right.
He or she.
Apostrophe E.
Yeah.
They'll go the art process, and it's different for everyone. It's not going to be the exact same for everyone, but it generally starts with concept. It starts from design, goes from design to concept, from concept to basic 3D model, from model to flash out, from flash out to rigging, from rigging to animating, from animating to in-game.
So it goes from all of that into Unity or whatever engine you're using.
Well, the last step is in-game, is whatever engine you're using.
Okay.
Either it's Blender's game engine or Unity.
And how long? So to make the PC, for instance, if you were doing third person, what would that entail? It would entail all of that, but how long do you think that would take one artist to do?
It depends on how complex you want your third person to be. So so third person would be...
Think World of Warcraft.
Okay, so third person, that would take all of that.
Yes.
I don't know how long it would take because it's different for every person, for everyone. One of my friends that I knew would take almost a week to do certain specific animations, really complex animations, mind you, but take a week to do animations. But if you were to put them side by side with the real version of it, you couldn't tell the difference. There'd be no way you could tell the difference outside of one of them may or may not be textured.
And when you're talking about different animations, it would take 1 week to do a walking animation. It would take another week to do a fighting animation where you swing a sword.
No.
Okay.
No.
What are you referring to?
So what I mean by that is it would take you 1 week to do idle, walking, and then running. And like I said, it's different for everyone. It can take you X amount of time to do that idle. It can take you X amount of time to do that walking and X amount of time to do that running. It's not solid for everyone. So you got to
do it based off of their skill and experience. Well, basically their skill.
One person can get it done in a day, whereas another person can take 3 days to do one.
So that's gonna be really difficult to come up with realistic goals and timelines for whoever we hire, because we got to do it specifically based off of their talent.
Almost, pretty much.
Okay. Well, that's something we'll have to discuss as managers. So I want to bring this to a close. What were your lasting thoughts?
There's so many things to go over that there's not enough time to talk about it.
That's a good lasting thought. Time management. Lasting thought for me, I'm going to start doing weekly quotes for my lasting thoughts from different people. And today's is actually from my dad, who probably heard it somewhere else. But this is what we actually just talked about this today. And I'll leave you with this. Make a plan to know what you deviate from. So when you make a plan to know what you're deviating from.
Yep. Also, just because you can doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I was debating on using that one, but I decided to go with my dad.
I think I'll have that one as mine.
That'll be yours. And what was yours again? Say it a little slower.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
There you go. And with that, I'm God Inspired Games.
And I'm Zach from Elkin Studios LLC.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. And
now we got to watch him go over there and turn it off.
Yeah. And enjoy the next technical difficulties.
We'll get it right one of these days. This is just different because it's new. But I mean, the more we do it, the better we get at it. So, and again, if we have a full-time audio guy, or not audio, a technician person, then we should be better as well. Anyways, have a good one. God bless.